here we go, the 66th country, Philippines. I still remember that when I was living in the UK, there was a certain time I watched the news. It's about the conflict between China and the Philippines, and then I start to ask myself where I still visit a country that has a conflict with my own country. The answer, it's definitely yes, because sometimes the news is just the news. It's very a single perception. Sometimes that can't represent all. And then my perception about Philippine people, I think they are one of the most friendly one from Asia. And then also they were everywhere in the world, in Middle East, in some other country you will see them working around, so it's somehow it's like the Chinese overseas in my perception. So I flew from Hong Kong to Manila and then to Cebu. And then my perception about Cebu was not the place first. It's about once upon a time I watched a aircraft safety demonstration videos about one airline from Cebu. It's really funny one. It's not like the formal one from other airlines. It's like the funny dancing, the cabin crew. So I was really impressed. And then while transiting from Manila to Cebu, my flight was being delayed for more than 5 hours. And when I arrived in Cebu, it's already midnight, 1 a.m. And then after I checked in, I fell asleep at 2 a.m. or something. And the next day, I just left Cebu, heading to the north, because I'm going to the northern part of Cebu called Malapascua Island. So normally I don't plan anything, I just know my destination, that's it. So I took a jeepney and then changed the bus, and after that I catch the boat, and I really like the boat in Philippines because it's really fresh air, and then you will never feel sick by that kind of boat from motion sickness. That will never happen. And on the same boat, I met a local Filipino girl. Her name is Nina. She's traveling domestically. So the rest of the time on the island, I was accompanied with her. She rode the motorbike, and she took me to visit the island. We went to the local eatery for food. And then she was there, for my translating, because sometimes they speak the local language other than English. And then we took the boat to other islands, which was very beautiful. I mean, I didn't expect the beaches, the waters are so nice, so clean in Philippines. I mean, that's one of the best in my perception in Southeast Asia. And then we also went to see the cockfighting. Yeah, but unfortunately, after the fight, one chicken died. That's the sad part. But the local people really enjoy this game. So, yeah. And after that, I returned back to Cebu. And then with some local people's advice, other than seeing the ancient buildings in Cebu, I went to a butterfly sanctuary and learned something about the butterfly. They have a garden and also a gallery. It's a family-run place. So in the garden, there were so many caterpillars on the leaves. And then when I was little, I was so scary about worms, even caterpillar. So I can't even see them. When I studied biology, if there's worms on the picture of the book, so I would just cover that page. Yeah. And after that, I decided to challenge myself a little bit, and then especially the stuff from the sanctuary told me, the caterpillar is harmless. So I tried to touch them. Okay, that was my very first time in my life. After that, there came a Japanese girl who is a visitor. I was curious if she will feel scared. After that, I just saw her pass together, and she can't even just come closer to the leaves because she was screaming. And then I found out it was so funny, and that just encouraged me to overcome my fear more. So other than touching the caterpillar, I just carried one, put on my hand, and and after that I took a photo. I sent it to my mom. My mom said I'm so brave, because my mom had the same fear with me. And after that I went to the gallery. I saw a picture. It's a naked woman surrounded with different animals, and then the woman's face seems very scared about the surrounding. But actually, as a human being, you shouldn't be scared, because the other animal is a part of your nature. They will not harm you proactively. So that's what I learned from that place. I think it's totally true. The fear just comes from our inner self, other than the other things out there. And after that, I returned back to Manila. I stayed in a hostel. And in a hostel, it was so funny. I met a guy, a Turkish German guy, who I met before in Cuba. And then he stayed in the same hostel with me by accidentally, because we didn't contact each other earlier. And then I met a new friend, and then the Ben. He is from London, and I used to live in London. So I still remember how I met Ben, and he was reading a book, like an On the Planet guide about Philippines. So I just saw the book cover, because I haven't got one, so I just want to borrow the book and read some sites about surrounding in Manila. So I just borrowed the book, and then Ben, in the first, he thought I'm a prostitute, because there were so many local Philippine prostitutes around that area. And then mostly it's like the white Western man accompanied with the young Filipino, that's kind of a combo. And then eventually he found out I'm a real traveler. That was very funny. And then when I met Ben, he had a really not very nice day, because he was hand over in early morning in the street in Manila, and then he got robbed. And after that, I just suggest to visit a volcano lake around Manila, and then he joined me. So I took him in his very first jeepney. And after that, we changed to a tuk-tuk, and then we needed to show the boat price to cross the river to send us to the volcano place. And then there's one tour guide just followed us all the time. Yeah, we feel so annoyed about him, but we can't kick him off. And then eventually we just found ourselves a boat, and then we negotiated with the owner. And then the owner is having a wedding for her niece. And then so they just invite us for the wedding. We had 2 meals, both before we went to the volcano and on the journey back. So that was really funny experience. And after that, we returned back to Manila, but on the way we got lost, and also we encountered the traffic, but it ended up we had a good day. And then we spent Halloween in Manila, and then Ben took me to Pan Pacific for a drink, and then after that Ben left for another place for his colleague's wedding. That's the reason he was in Philippines. And after that I spent the rest of my days in Manila. I met a local Filipino girl. She's going to work in Saudi, and then she was the first one to tell me something about Saudi. And I eventually in 2019 I made my way to Saudi. And thank you very much for listening, and the next coming episode there will